After dinner I made another list. I checked the names in the school directory because the spelling is so confusing. Do invite to my sleepover. Number 1 Haley Chun, number 2 Haley Brown, number 3 Haley Ranson, number 4 Haley McDonald, number 5 Haley Sheridan, number 6 Haley Garfinkel, and number 7 Autumn Maxwell. Then I grabbed some glue sticks, construction paper, markers, and a pair of scissors and dumped them onto the coffee table. No way am I going to send free email invites. These calls for real thing. What are you making such a mess? Tutu complains. She settled on her end of the couch, watching a game show called Name That Tune. It's an old show from when Mom was little. The way it works is that the band plays a few notes and the contestants try to guess the song. I'll make the invitation for my Hawaiian luau sleepover. I tell her they're going to be pineapples. Tutu grunts. Pineapples aren't native to Hawaii. They were brought to the island by the Spanish. Most everything was brought to Hawaii. Pigs, mongooses, rats, they all came by ship. What, like on a cruise ship? I imagine a pig, a mongoose, and a rat sitting in a deck chair, which makes me laugh. Tutu looks at me over the rim of her cat eyeglasses. Listen up and you will learn. The only native mammal was the ope apea, the hoary bat, and the only native food was talo, the wild sweet potato. I'm never sure if Tutu's story are real or not, but this time it doesn't matter because I have no idea how to draw a hoary bat or a wild sweet potato. Thanks, but I think I'll stick with a pineapple. So I cut a yellow shapes, glued them onto the paper, then cut out the green leaves and glue those on. While I'm creating my masterpiece, Tutu shouts at the TV, "Don't sit under the apple tree." Blue Moon, Jailhouse Rock. I don't know any of those songs. When Name That Tune is over, she points at the coffee table. "What's that?" "My invitation list," I explain. "Those are the girls I'm inviting." She wiggles her fingers. I hand her the list. She holds the paper real close and screams. "And who exactly are these girls?" "Just some girls from school and Autumn." "I don't know these girls from school." "What makes them so important that they get to be at your party?" "Well, I set the scissors back in their plastic case. I want them to be my new friends. When Autumn visits her dad, I don't have anything to do. I get bored." "Bored?" she snorts. "When I was a girl, there was no time to be bored. I had to pull weeds in my mom's garden, then pick the watercress and take it down to the market. I had to feed and water the chickens and rake their pen, and I babysat my little brothers and helped my mom cook dinner. We had to wash our clothes by hand, so every week I washed my brother's best shirts for Sunday church." Sometimes Tutu's childhood sounds miracle, but most of the time it sounds really hard. "I'm sorry you had to do all that," I say, "but my situation is totally different." Doesn't Tutu realize that I only have one true friend at school, and that having more would be great? The Haleys have a lot of fun together. They have parties every weekend, the best parties. Everyone wants to go, but they only invite each other. If they come to my sleepover and see that I'm just as fun as they are, then they'll like me, and I'll get invited to their parties. What about Autumn? I'd only go on the weekends when Autumn has to stay at her dad's. Besides, Autumn wouldn't want to go to Haley party. She doesn't like parties, but she'll eat lunch with us. Maybe she will, and maybe she won't. Autumn is a wise girl. Autumn and Tutu are close, but Autumn comes over all the time. Since Autumn's grandparents live in California and she rarely gets to see them, Tutu is like a grandmother to her. One day Autumn will bloom like an ohia flower. She'll eat lunch with me and the Heelys, I say with absolute confidence. Autumn and I are inseparable, except for every other weekend. Tutu hands the list back to me, then she grabs her clicker and mutes the TV. She doesn't do that very often, and it means she's going to tell me one of her stories. If you want to impress these girls, then you should make sleepover soup, she says. Soup? Who eats soup at a party? I imagine the disappointment looks at their faces. That's an interesting idea, I smile politely, but I'm gonna stick with my luau theme. That's too bad, she says with a shake of her head, because sleepover soup is blessed by the Hawaiian gods, by Kane, Lono, Ku, and Kanaloa. And if your guest eats the soup, their wishes will come true. Huh? I'm intrigued, intrigued, I sit on the couch. What do you mean? How can gods bless soup? Tutu gets that dreamy look as if she's standing back on her island, her toes in the sand, smelling the salt water. It's a special recipe handed down from generation to generation, from mother to daughter since sleepovers began. I'm pretty sure I know all of Tutu's recipe. I've read through her cuts and Mom and I have cooked most of the dishes, but this one is new to me. She sets the clitter aside and folds her arm. We start with a pot of simmering chicken broth. This was easy to make back home because most everyone had a spare rooster running around or an old chicken that didn't lay eggs anymore. You cut off the chicken's head and gross, I say. It's not gross, Leilani. How do you think chicken broth is made? Mom always buys it in a can. She sighs. Yes, but fresh is better. You want me to kill a chicken? I'm not doing that, no way. Perhaps that is asking too much. She reaches out and pats my hand. Clearly you're too busy to cook soup that makes dreams come true. Then she takes one of the butterscotch candies from the candy bowl, unwraps it, and begins to eat it. She reaches for the clicker. Wait, Tutu, how does it make wishes come true? She raises her eyebrow. They were drawn on with a black eyeliner pencil. Well, after you have a pot of chicken broth, you want to make sure it's on a gentle, welcoming simmer. You don't want hot broth splattering your dress. She rolls the candy around in her mouth. Then each guest selects one ingredient for the soup. It must be a special ingredient, something that is meaningful to each person and comes from a special place. I always brought taro root. Why? Because my grandfather owned a small taro farm. Did you know that taro was important to all Hawaiian people? It was so important that the word for family, ohana, comes from oha, which are the shoots of the taro plant, you see. Just as the shoots come from the taro, we come from our families. And taro is important because all plant life in Hawaii is considered sacred. Taro is alive with mana. Well, I've heard about mana, which is a kind of energy that Hawaiians believe you can find it in just about everything. I've never heard anything about sleepover soup, but butterscotch candy smells real good right now. I grab one. What about the dots? I ask. Where do they come in? Tutu closes her eyes and I guess she's imagining her sleepover way back when she was a little girl. Did they have sleeping bags? Did they play truth or dare? One by one, the guests add their special ingredients to the broth. She continues. After everything has been added, you take the pot outside and stir it in the moonlight. A full moon is best, but any moonlight will do. Then you ask Hina I Tra Malama to bless the soup. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember why. Who's Hina I? Tutu's eyes slowly open. She turns and scowls at me. Hina I Tra Malama. Do you never listen? Hina I Tra Malama means Hina in the moon. She grew tired of the islands, so she took the rainbow path to the sun. Finding the sun too warm, she climbed instead to the moon. If you look carefully, you can see her watching over travelers on Earth. I nod as the story comes back to me. So what happens then with the soup? Then you each take a sip. That is important part. Only in the sharing will the magic be unleashed. She turns away and unmutes the TV. Jeopardy is on. The soup sounds kind of cool. Blessed by a goddess who lives in the moon. I imagine moonbeams touching in the soup, filling it with magic. Of course, it's one of Tutu's crazy stories, and there's no way eating soup would make my wish, which is to become a member of the Haleys, come true. Besides, the Haleys are used to amazing sleepovers, and dumping a bunch of things into a pot of chicken broth is not amazing. I stack the invitations next to the do invite list, but I can't find any envelopes. Tutu, when you go to the market tomorrow, can you get some envelopes? I ask so I can mail this. Envelopes? She says with a nod. Okay. Thanks, Tutu. I kiss her cheek. Her skin smells like coconut. Before I go to bed, I turn off the light, then look out the window. The man with the white beard is watching TV. The Croatian ladies have gone to bed. Haley Chan's apartment is also dark. The trip slows. She'll be so surprised when the invitation comes. The snow didn't stick around, which is pretty typical for Seattle. I look up at the sky. There's no moon tonight, just a bunch of dark clouds. Good thing I'm not trying to make sleepover soup. Tutu makes up the weirdest stories.